My name's Anne Tulley, and I've lived in Chiswick for on and off for about 60 years, probably about 40 years in succession. Do you want to introduce yourself, Mum?
What do I say?
Your name?
My name is Annie Tulley.
How long you've lived in Chiswick?
Oh, how long have I lived in Chiswick? How long have I lived here? Well, I was 22 when I came up here to live, and I'm 97 now.
So she's done not too badly. We were living in a different age then, when women often weren't working and they had time to kind of integrate and spend time together. There certainly was a sense of community that has long since gone from Chiswick. You went back to live in Drummoyne for about 12 years.
I went for how long?
About 12 years, was it?
No, about 4 years. 6 years, something like that. About 6 years. During the war, Anne was born, and my mother decided I was too young to bring up a baby on my own, which was ridiculous, but still. And I went home and stayed with Mum on Lyons Road. When Stan came home, we stayed there for a couple of years, and then we came up here and bought a block of land, and we lived here ever since. I don't think at the present moment there's anybody lived in Chiswick as long as I've lived in Chiswick. I've had a lot of wonderful times in Chiswick, and when we first came up to Chiswick, it was an entirely different place than it is now. It was beautiful. There was only about 6 houses when we came up to live here. And then when the others come, she's a little friend up the road and that, we'd all had a progress association. We used to have dances and everything else, and go to one another's places for morning tea, which you don't do now. And it was really glorious. And the kids had their own Sunday school with the most beautiful Sunday school teacher. And I must admit, it was much nicer than it is now. Much nicer.
There was a real sense of community then. There was a real sense of community.
Oh, everybody, everybody knew one another, because there was no houses. There was only just a couple of houses across the road there, and the one I lived in was probably one of the first houses that was built. My father-in-law owned it. And look, even these kids, they could tell you the fun they used to have in Chiswick. And they used to go swimming in no baths, they just used to go down and swim in the open. And but it was really a beautiful place to live in.
The shop was added on to the house, which was built in 1914. The shop was built in 1928, and it was built by a grandfather. Lewis Tulley established the shop. Mum's father-in-law, my paternal grandfather. Yeah, it's a bit confusing, isn't it? Yes. What's interesting about the shop too is it was literally a corner shop, and it was a community kind of centrepiece, because people would come and leave their keys there. If say somebody was, if a tradie was going to come and somebody needed to make a delivery or do work and they couldn't be home, they'd leave the keys here, and then they could come and collect the keys here. People would run up tabs here. A lot of gossip too, I think.
A lot of trust.
Yeah, the trust. Yeah,
Trust was good.
Yes.
Yes, Olga we lived down there, and she lived on the corner. She lived on the corner with her mum and dad. Now we've started to get back again together, and we go walking together. Anyway, I'll take what I'm going to say now. Isn't that terrible? Oh, about Mum.
Yeah.
And Mum had a wonderful mum and dad, And anyway, Mum, through something that happened to her, a shock, she ended up with very bad asthma. And I've seen my mother black in the face with asthma. Anyway, one of the doctors said to her, or said to my father, look, your wife's not going to live very long. He said, but if you took her to a warmer climate, she might live till she was 49 or 50. So anyway, packed up, come from Scotland, we came out here. Dad died at 60, Mum lived till she was 94. So I must have taken after her, there must have been something there. But she came off a very aristocratic family, plenty of money, and Dad was just, but they were in love, and that was the only, you know. My father just adored my mother. I never saw two people like it. And I mean, if he thought it was going to do her good, yes.